Advaita's dream, the boy who wanted to grow up too fast. Advaita was a little boy who lived in a hurry. He didn't want to play with blocks. He wanted to cook big meals. He didn't want his small sneakers. He marched around in his father's giant clomping shoes. "I want to be a grown-up right now," he shouted, but then, thump! He tripped over the long laces and tumbled onto the rug. Rubbing his sleepy eyes, Advaita curled up and drifted into a deep, magical slumber. Advaita woke up in the sparkle-leaf forest, where the trees glowed like nightlights. Standing before him was Guru Kachua, a very old tortoise with a shell that shimmered like emeralds. "To grow up, Advaita, you cannot just run," Guru Kachua said softly. "You must pass through the 8 logic gates of growing up. Each one will build the strength you need for the next." The first gate was the gate of patience. To pass, Advaita had to sit and watch a tiny seed in the dirt. He waited and waited, his legs wiggling with energy. "Too slow," barked Chatur the fox, who went racing past the gate into the brambles. Advaita stayed still until pop, a tiny green sprout appeared. The gate hummed and opened, and Advaita felt a new, steady calm in his heart. The second gate was the gate of persistence. Located at the bottom of a slippery, muddy hill, Advaita began to climb, but his feet slid back down. He tried again and again, his hands getting messy. He saw Chatur the fox trying to sprint to the top, but the fox slipped, fell into a puddle, and sat there huffing in frustration. Advaita took a deep breath and reached for one more branch, finally pulling himself to the top. The third gate was the gate of focus. It was a shimmering wall covered in hundreds of glowing buttons, circles, stars, and squares. "Press only the squares," Guru Kachua instructed. Because Advaita had learned patience, he didn't rush. He looked at each button carefully, ignoring the distracting stars, until he had pressed every square. The wall dissolved into a shower of golden sparkles. At the fourth gate, the gate of resilience, Advaita found a pile of crystal blocks. He began to build a tower, but halfway through, it wobbled and crashed. Chatur the fox started to cry and kicked his blocks away. But Advaita remembered his journey. He didn't give up. He looked at why the blocks fell and started again, building a base that was twice as strong as before. The fifth gate was the gate of discipline. The path was made of musical stones that only stayed solid if stepped on in a specific order. 1, 2, 3. Chatur tried to jump all the way to the end and fell into the tall grass. Advaita followed the steps exactly, matching his breathing to his movement. "Order creates the path," Guru Kachua whispered as Advaita reached the other side. The sixth gate was the gate of authenticity. It was a giant, swirling mirror. Chatur the fox looked inside and tried to puff out his fur to look like a giant lion, but the mirror wouldn't let him pass. Advaita looked at his reflection. He didn't try to look taller or older. He just smiled as the boy he was. The mirror turned into a soft mist, allowing the real Advaita to walk right through. The seventh gate was the gate of kindness. It was a narrow bridge over a misty canyon. Advaita was strong now, but he saw Chatur shivering at the edge, too scared to move. Advaita didn't leave him behind. He reached out his hand and said, "We can do this together." He used his focus and patience to lead the fox safely across the swaying planks. Finally, they reached the eighth gate, the gate of wisdom, at the very top of a mountain. Advaita looked back and saw the whole winding path. He realized that every mistake and every slow step had made him stronger. Suddenly, the golden light of the forest began to fade into the morning sun. Advaita woke up in his bed and looked at his small shoes. "I'm not in a hurry anymore," he whispered, happy to be exactly the age he was.